Okay, today we're going to do some fraction review. Fractions are parts of a whole. So all fractions represent some part of one whole. So if this is my whole, oops, it's a little out of focus. If that's my whole, a fraction is part of that. So for example, here's a fraction that's 1/6 of my whole. It's not one whole. It wouldn't be the 1 yet on the number line, but it's smaller. It's part of one whole. Now we see that fractions are written not quite like whole numbers. They have a number on top, a line, and then a number on the bottom. Well, the number on top is called the numerator, and it tells you how many pieces we're talking about. So since this is only one piece, the numerator is 1. So the numerator is how many pieces we're talking about. So how many pieces in question? In this case, we have one piece, so it is a numerator of 1. The bottom number is called the denominator. And the denominator tells you how many pieces make up, the denominator tells you how many in one whole. So the number of pieces in one whole. So that means in this case that the 6th is going to be how many pieces make up one whole. Now I can pull pieces out of the bag and see if that's the case here. So 1/6 and another 1/6 is two pieces size 1/6. 3 pieces size 1/6. 4 pieces size 1/6. 5 pieces size 1/6. And 6 pieces size 1/6. So there are 6 pieces here that make up one whole. That's where we get the denominator of 6, because there are 6 pieces. You can see my 6 orange pieces make up that one whole. Each one of them is a part of a whole. So really, when I'm looking at the number 1/6, it's not 1 out of 6. It's not a 1 and it's not a 6. It's one number. 1/6 means one thing. Okay, so we can look at fractions like this as part of a bar. But there are other ways we can look at fractions as well. We can look at fractions as part of an area. So let's say I have a pan of brownies. And so my one whole is this whole pan. Now, I have lots of friends and I want to share with all of them. So I'm going to split my brownies up so that all of my friends can enjoy some of the brownies. So let's say I do this. Split this. Okay, so now I have my brownies split up so that my friends can all share. So if I'm talking about fractions, remember we have a numerator and our denominator. The denominator is how many pieces make up this whole pan of brownies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And once I found that it was 3, I could have skip counted by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12 to figure out there were 12 pieces in my whole pan of brownies. So 12 pieces in one whole. That's where we get our denominator. Now let's say that I invite Jack and Jill and they eat a piece, I eat a piece, and Jack and Jill eat a piece. So what amount of pieces did we eat? So we ate 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So our numerator is how many pieces we're talking about. I want to know what fraction of the brownies were eaten. Well, a piece for Jack, a piece for Jill, and a piece for myself. 3 pieces were eaten. Okay, and just like a regular brownie, they don't all have to be in a line. If people like corners, you can eat the corners, or you can eat from the middle. So when you're doing fractions, they don't all have to be set up like this, where it's all shaded all together. Okay, they can be randomly put throughout, but we still are then looking for, if it was shaded like this and like that, I'm looking to see how many pieces were eaten, how many pieces are purple. And I would say, okay, 1 piece that's purple, 2 pieces that's purple, 3 purple, 4 purple, 5 purple, 6 purple, 7 purple. So that fraction is 7 purple. And did my whole change? Is my pan of brownies still 1 whole? Yeah, I still have 1 whole pan of brownies that's split into 12 equal pieces. So my denominator is not going to change, because the denominator tells me how many pieces I have in the whole thing. That's not going to change, okay, unless I do some more cutting, but then that's going to change everything. So my denominator stays the same. Okay, so that's fractions of an area. How many are shaded out of how many in 1 whole. Okay, the last way that we can show fractions that we've talked about so far is in a set model. So here I have some pens that are all different colors, because you know I like different colored pens. So I have some pens lined up here. And we can see, move it a little closer so you can see the colors. Okay, so I want to know what fraction of my pens are green. So if I go with the same thing we just talked about, that the numerator is how many are in question, so that would be how many are green. I see that there are 2 green, and my denominator I know is how many in 1 whole. Well, this is a little different. I'm going to think about my whole as the whole set of pens, or the whole group of pens. So how many pens do I have here in my group? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my denominator is 7. Now, will that denominator change for any fraction of this set that we do? And why do you think it won't? Because it won't. The fraction will still be 7 for any question about this group. It's because the whole is not changing. These 7 pens stay put. Okay, even if I'm talking about the green ones, I'm now going to try and talk about the blue or the pink. I still have 7 pens because they're not going anywhere. They're still part of that set. So if I wanted to know how many blue pens I had, I'm going to look and see how many blue pens. Well, there's 1 blue, and I know that the denominator is how many are in 1 whole set. There are still 7 in 1 whole set. I would like you to find the fraction of pens that are pink and write it in your journal. What fraction of the pens are pink? Okay, if you haven't finished already, pause the video. Fractions of pens that are pink. We have 3 pink pens out of 7 in all. Now I'm going to make it a little bit harder. What fractions of the pens are not purple? So pause your video. What fraction of the pens are not purple? So what do we think? Well, what colors are not purple? Because what's in question, the numerator, is what's not purple. Not purple would be pink, green, and blue. So how many pens are pink, green, and blue? 1, 2, oh, there's a purple, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are not purple, and we have a total in one whole set, we have 7 pens. Okay, so that was just a quick review or refresher of fractions. Your numerator is how many pieces we're talking about or how many pieces are in the question that they're asking about, shaded, not shaded. If it's a set, it could be anything. And then your denominator is how many pieces in one whole.